Thank you, Mr. Chair, Ranking Member, members of the subcommittee. Good morning still. Aloha. And first of all, for all of the people of Hawaii, thank you so much for your expressions of concern and for your focus in this hearing. I appear before you today as the former representative for the 2nd Congressional, which is Maui, and as one who, like so many around our country and our world, feel a deep personal sense of loss. But most importantly, I appear before you as one with my colleague, Ms. Tokuda, of our 2 representatives from Hawaii, because in Hawaii, we really don't think about district lines. Districts don't matter in Hawaii. Maui and Lahaina are part of all of Hawaii. And this incredible tragedy was and is a tragedy for West Maui, for Maui, but it is a deeply felt tragedy for all of our Hawaii, and we are all in for Maui. Ms. Tokuda, who's been a constant on Maui, devoted to Maui's needs since the early days of this tragedy, will describe for you a little bit more personal detail what happened, what the situation is on the ground. We'll relay some very personal stories that I hope drive home the point of the true situation and what our path must be going forward. And as you consider the testimony today and our own future path here in Congress, I'd like to leave you with about 3 thoughts on an overview. First of all, I agree that Congress's role and involvement is critical. In a disaster such as this, only our federal government can muster the resources and the energy and the scope of critical assistance that is going to be necessary to truly address a tragedy of this nature. And by focusing the attention and concern of Congress on the Maui disaster, you highlight the critical needs here, and I think you also highlight the path forward in terms of making sure that this doesn't happen in other communities throughout our country, because each tragedy must offer lessons to be understood and learned. Otherwise, it's simply going to be repeated, and the lives that we have lost, the community that we have lost, will be disrespected. But as this tragedy can offer lessons, at least Hawaii and those that have been lost can offer something to the rest of our country and the world. And so your focus here is really critical, and your questions have been relevant and critical, and I thank you for them. Second, the full focus of our collective efforts must remain on Maui. We are only 51 days after a very sudden and terrible tragedy, and I think it's important to understand the reality of Maui and Hawaii today. Of course, we have almost 100 confirmed dead, but we simply have not identified the remains of many, and we have many that are still missing. That effort must continue. We have a community of some 12,000, which is fully displaced, 7,800 in hotel rooms, full efforts on locating difficult-to-locate interim housing. We have a year-plus debris removal project that has only just begun. We have businesses that are devastated and only now are facing the reality of whether and how to survive. We have the full resources of our federal, state, and county governments, the community, and our congressional delegation, all focused on the necessary efforts that are required for Maui today. We have, as you know already, at least 3 investigations, full investigations, independent investigations, and we all know that we have a number of lawsuits that have already been filed, and these are all fact-finding exercises that in time will bring out the answers to many of the questions that this committee have asked. And all of this is where our efforts should remain for now. All of which is to say that while we in Congress have a very critical role, and I agree with you, Mr. Chair, it's not too early to ask these questions, we should not disrupt in what we're doing today what is necessary to be done for Maui. And so there will be a time for Congress, I think, to delve more deeply into exactly what happened and to learn the lessons of Maui when some stability has been restored. Third, how can Congress best help now, today? First of all, we ask you and encourage you to visit Maui, to see and feel for yourself this tragedy. This is something that we welcome the President, we welcome the Speaker, we've welcomed already many of our colleagues. Nothing can replace that sense of understanding to do that. And second, we ask that we all collectively fund the Disaster Relief Fund by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which is running dangerously low now. So these are two concrete areas that we can help Maui and all of us right now. But again, for Maui, for our Hawaii, my deepest appreciation for your constructive effort today for this hearing, and we completely stand ready to work with you, not only for Maui, but for the rest of our country to make sure that the lessons are learned. Thank you again.